was a group called Litava with a song of Taras Shevchenko's lyrics put to music, and that song was called Od sela do sela, From Village to Village. Добрий вечір, шановні радіослухачі, та вітаю вас всіх на радіопередачу «Наш Holos» радіо українського коріння, котра подається вам, як звичайно, на багатомовній радіостанції AM 1320 CHMB у місті Ванкувері і по мережі PCJ Радіо Міжнародному. При мікрофоні Павліна Макворі, дякую, що рішили перебути зі мною наступну годину. Hello there and welcome to Nash Holos Ukrainian Roots Radio here on AM 1320 CHMB Vancouver and in international syndication on PCJ Radio International. I'm your host, Paula Demchik-Makori, Pokrinske Pavlina. Thank you so much for joining me. We've got a great program lined up for you. It will be another focus on Shevchenko, musically speaking, and we might have a little something as well that explains another aspect of Taras Shevchenko's life. We'll have a couple of very small recordings of his poetry recited in English, as well as Ukrainian, as well as a description of his life while in exile in Kazakhstan, and that will be in the Ukrainian language. As well, we've got part 2 of our interview with Paulina Zalitsky, who's the author of her memoir, The Sea is Only Knee Deep, and that is a 2-volume memoir that she wrote about her life growing up in the Soviet Union, as well as working in Cuba during the Cuban Missile Crisis, the second one, and a famous defection to Canada. So stay tuned for that as well, our usual proverb of the week, other items of interest, and great Ukrainian music. And coming up next is another of Taras Shevchenko's famous poems, Zapovit, My Testament, performed by Dmytro Bohush.
Як умру, то поховайте мене на могилі серед степу широкого на Вкраїні милі, що плани широко полі і Дніпро і кручі. Було видно, було чути, як реве ревучий, що плани широко полі і Дніпро, і кручі. Було видно, було чути, як реве ревучий. Як понесе з України у синє море кров ворожу, ото й діє і лани, і гори. Все покину і полину до самого Бога. Буду молитися, а до того я не знаю Бога. Все покину і полину до самого Бога. Буду молитися, а до того я не знаю Бога. Поховайте та вставайте, кайдани порвіте, і вражою свою кров'ю волю окропіте. І мене в землі великій, в землі волі новій, не забудьте пом'янути незлим тихим словом. І мене в землі великій, в землі волі новій, не забудьте пом'янути незлим тихим словом.
Thanks to the foresight and generosity of its donors, the Shevchenko Foundation has been investing in the future of the Ukrainian-Canadian community for over 50 years. Since 1963, the Shevchenko Foundation has been funding initiatives that strengthen our Ukrainian-Canadian identity and enhance our Ukrainian-Canadian cultural heritage. These include fine and performing arts and arts groups, museums, cultural centers, education, as well as authors, journalists, and the Ukrainian-Canadian media, including this program. The foundation strives to become the premier not-for-profit foundation in Canada which acknowledges the Ukrainian-Canadian community as a fundamental component of Canadian society. Nash Holos listeners are encouraged to support this vision through continued donations into the future. To apply for grants, make a donation, or for more information, visit ShevchenkoFoundation.com.
Every day, more Ukrainian soldiers are killed or wounded by Russian invaders. You can help wounded heroes by joining the Adopt a Soldier program of registered charity Ukraine War Amps. A small monthly donation goes very far for medical services and living expenses and creates a special bond between you and a wounded hero. 100% of your contribution goes to the soldier. Please, adopt a soldier today. Visit ukrainewaramps.ca or find us on Facebook.
Бандуристе, орле сизий, добре тобі, брате, маєш крила, маєш силу, є коли літати. Тепер летиш в Україну, тебе виглядають. Полетів би я з тобою, та хто привітає?
Мій
and Alexei Kirikesha with the popular group Fata Morgana from the United States, and a very well-known song of Taras Shevchenko's lyrics put to music, Bandureste Orelesezi. Up next, we have two brief recitations of Taras Shevchenko poetry performed by the Ambassador of Great Britain, Judith Goff, and of Canada, Roman Waszczuk. And we'll follow that up with the story in Ukrainian about Taras Shevchenko's life in exile in Kazakhstan.
A cherry orchard by the house. Above the cherries beetles hum. The ploughmen plough the fertile ground, and girls sing songs as they pass by. It's evening time. Mother calls them home. A family sup by the house. A star shines in the evening chill. A daughter serves the evening meal. Time to give lessons. Mother tries, but can't. She blames the nightingale. It's getting dark, and by the house a mother lays her young to sleep. Beside them, she too falls asleep. All now went still, and just the young and the nightingale keep their vigil.
You did not play me false, O fate. You were a brother, closest friend to this poor wretch. You took my hand when I was still a little tot, and walked me to the deacon's school to learn from him, the drunken sot. My boy, just study hard, you said, and you'll be somebody in time. I listened, studied, forged ahead, got educated, but you lied. What am I now? But never mind. We've walked the straight path, you and I. We have not cheated, compromised, or lived the very slightest lie. So let's march on, dear fate of mine, my humble, truthful, faithful friend. Keep marching on. There, glory lies. March forward. That's my testament.
Життя Тараса Шевченка вивчене з точністю хіба що не до тижня. Дисертації, книжки, фільми, статті, збірки, конференції – серйозні науковці та аматори не шкодують сил на дослідження. Але є у житті Тараса таємниця, яка досі невідома широкому загалу. І пов'язана вона із казахським засланням поета. Акин та Разі – так називали Шевченка казахи. Вони не розуміли українською, та й російською більшості теж, але знали, що Шевченко непроста людина. Акин – це казахський кобзар, народний співець, поет, оповідач. Акинів у Казахстані шанують як мудреців та митців, і дотепер там проводяться конкурси акинів, переможці яких стають національними героями. Акином Шевченка називають у Казахстані, коли пишуть про нього наукові статті. Ну а якщо ми вам скажемо, що перший у світі пам'ятник Кобзареві було споруджено саме у Казахстані, ви переконаєтеся, що усе це не просто так. Що ми знаємо про казахське заслання Шевченка? По-перше, це було покарання за порушення заборони писати і малювати, яку наклав особисто імператор. Правда, як кажуть, з подачі критика Віссаріона Білінського, відомого революційного демократа. Ну, заборону писати ще можна якось зрозуміти, цар прочитав поетому сон. Пам'ятаєте, аж ось і сам високий сердитий виступає, обок його цариця небога, мов опеньок засушений, тонка, довгонога. Ну, зрозуміло, цар образився. Але чим завадило малювання? Це вже було просто вишукані тортури. І якщо ти художник, значить заборонимо малювати. Мені не шкода його. Будь я його суддею, я зробив би не менше, писав демократ, неістовий Віссаріон Білінський. Ну, російські демократи вони такі. Отже, з далекого Оренбурга Шевченка заслали іще далі, туди, де козам роги правлять, а саме на Мангішлак, у фортецю Новопетровську, збудовану для підкорення та контролю казахів. Такий собі окупаційний форт. Мангішлак, який казахи звуть Мангістау, це півострів на східному узбережжі Каспійського моря. Там живе казахське плем'я адаївців, нащадки легендарного героя Адая, на честь якого у Мангішлаку споруджено великий меморіальний комплекс Адай-Ата. Адай. Запам'ятайте це ім'я, сьогодні ми ще його згадаємо. Там, на Мангістау, у Новопетровському укріпленні, Тарас Григорович провів 7 років, спілкуючись не лише з солдатами та офіцерами, але й з місцевим населенням, яке звідкілясь знало, що перед ними не просто солдат, а справжній кобзар, а по-тамтешньому акин. Акин Таразі. Погодьтеся, що це вже само по собі цікаво. Адже Шевченко був представником окупаційної армії, звичайнісіньким солдатом, навіть не під старшиною, а крім того, християнином, тобто з точки зору мусульман невірним. Що повинно було статися, щоб казахи визнали його авторитетом, акином? Як ми знаємо, Шевченко посадив на Мангішлаку вербу, яку й досі доглядають та шанують місцеві люди. Але крім сакрального дерева, кобзар Акин залишив нащадкам 350 художніх робіт, присвячених Казахстану та казахам. Слава Богу, комендант Новопетровської фортеці Усков заплющував очі на порушення імператорського указу про заборону творчості. З Мангішлакської глушини до столиці інформація навряд чи дійде. Тим більше, що на подяку Тарас малював самого коменданта та його родину. В особі Шевченка казахи здобули свого художника, народного глашатая та оборонця, який перед лицем усього світу розповідав правду про життя, побут і природу маловідомого колоніального краю, про митарства гноблених і гнаних, пише казахський науковець професор Шеріаздан Єлеукенов. 350 картин про казахів. Дарунка такого масштабу Казахстану жоден із представників інших народів не робив. Тільки щедра душа Шевченка дала нам можливість споглядати 19 століття Казахстану в портретах живих людей. І він один, якщо не вважати окремі начерки нашого Чокана-Валіханова, лишив нам у спадок такий неповторний мистецький документ. Тобто Шевченкові малюнки – одне з небагатьох візуальних джерел, з якого самі казахи можуть почерпнути інформацію про власну недавню історію. Утім, навіть у Казахстані мало хто знає, що перший пам'ятник Тарасові Шевченку було встановлено саме на Мангішлаку. Лише за 24 роки після того, як Шевченко залишив півострів. Це був простий бюст на постаменті, але звідки він взявся, науковці й досі не знають. Бо ж скульптори у ту глушину не заїздили. Існує думка, що Шевченко сам зліпив своє погруддя і залишив як пам'ять про себе. Саме таку версію висунув лікар Станіслав Мастеров у книзі «Я пам'ятник собі поставив» – пам'ятник автопортрет Шевченка на Мангішлаку, яка вийшла у Казахстані 2006 року. Автор книжки працював у 70-ті роки минулого століття на протичумній станції побіля Мангішлаку. А на дозвіллі подорожував та спілкувався з місцевим населенням. І там з подивом переконався, що Акина Таразі, тобто Тараса Шевченка, і досі згадують аксакали. Саме вони розповіли йому і про казашку Катю. Подивіться на цей малюнок Шевченка. Саме ця жінка, як твердили аксакали, була дружиною Тараса Григоровича у Казахстані. Катя була молодшою за Шевченка на 20 років. Вона належала до того самого легендарного роду Адай, нащадків засновника племені адаївців. І саме через неї Шевченко долучився до могутньої знаті і таким чином отримав авторитет серед місцевих жителів. Бо як інакше солдат окупаційного війська, християнин, тобто невірний, міг стати авторитетом серед неписьменних мусульман-казахів. Родова структура суспільства і досі панує у Казахстані, а у ті часи тільки належність до шанованого роду давала людині становище у суспільстві. Саме за посередництва Каті, а точніше її родини, Тарас Шевченко і здобув авторитет у казахів. Бо самого лише малювання для цього, зрозуміло, не вистачило би, а казахською мовою Тарас не володів і без допомоги перекладача не зміг би порозумітися з місцевими жителями, які російською теж здебільшого не знали. Отже, шлях до серця простих казахів ішов через спілкування з авторитетними, освіченими людьми, представниками місцевої знаті, які могли знайти спільну мову з художником та поетом з України та відчути масштаб його особистості. Катя народила Шевченкові 2 дітей – хлопчика і дівчинку. Але коли термін заслання добіг кінця і Тарас повернувся до Петербурга, Катю видали заміж за казаха і звеліли забути, що вона мала колись чоловіка-християнина. Втім, саме рід Адаїв і зберіг пам'ять на Мангишлаку про Акина Таразі, його вербу, і зрештою сприяв тому, що бюст Шевченка, створений чи то ним самим, чи то кимось іншим, став першим у світі пам'ятником Кобзареві, а точніше Акину Таразі, на далекому казахському Мангишлаку. Нині у Казахстані 16 пам'ятників Шевченкові. Один із них, звісно, у Мангишлаку. Це вже не той бюст, а велика скульптура. Про Акина Таразі казахським дітям розповідають у школах. Зрозуміло, за винятком історії з казашкою Катею, бо вона не підтверджена жодними документами. А аксакали, люди старі, могли щось поплутати. Дарма щось більшість казахської історії нащадкам зберегли саме аксакали. Утім, факт залишається фактом. З якихось причин за 24 роки після того, як Шевченко залишив Мангишлак, там йому спорудили пам'ятник. Перший у світі. А ми з вами вшановуємо Кобзаря і зараз. Зокрема, 12 березня на екрани українських кінотеатрів виходить фільм «Толока» Михайла Іллєнка. Це історична притча, створена за мотивами балади Шевченка «У тієї Катерини». Спроба осмислити всю історію України в одному фільмі, в одному сюжеті, від часів козацтва аж до АТО.
Hello, I'm Vasily Pavlovsky, and this is Cultural Capsule, especially for Nash Holos. One day short of a year of this week's Cultural Capsule, I concluded my segment with the following words of today's persona. Oh, bury me, then rise me up, and break your heavy chains. Add water with the tyrant's blood, the freedom you have gained. That freedom was sought not only by Shevchenko for his people, but also by an Afro-American actor by the name of Ira Aldridge, whom through self-imposed exile was acting in Britain. In April of 1846, Shevchenko was arrested and exiled as a private in the Tsar's army to Orenburg, and while the period of exile was never stated, it was expected to be for life. In her memoirs of Shevchenko, Ekaterina Yonge, the daughter of Fyodor Tolstoy, head of the Academy of Arts, wrote, "Maybe my father was a participant in the matter, inasmuch that he vehemently abhorred serfdom and really felt for the young poet and artist. He made many appeals on behalf of Shevchenko, and then one evening in the autumn of 1857, my father woke us all from a deep sleep. 'Get up, children, there is great happiness.' We went into the parlor, then he told us Shevchenko had been freed." When Shevchenko finally arrived in St. Petersburg in the spring of 1858, he went directly to the Tolstoys to thank them for securing his freedom. Through the Academy of Arts, he received a small 2-bedroom flat with a bedroom and a studio. "And our home was his home," wrote Yonge, and continued, "though one of the greatest events of that time was the visit to our capital of the African tragic actor Ira Aldridge. He and Shevchenko became inseparable. They had so much in common. They both had clean souls, they were incredible artists, and they both had memories of oppression from childhood. While they could not understand one another without a translator, they sang each other's songs of their homelands and understood one another." Aldridge, who had a hard time pronouncing Slavic names, simply referred to Shevchenko as the artist. It was on December 25, 1858, when the 14-year-old Ekaterina and her 10-year-old sister escorted Aldridge to Shevchenko's studio for a portrait. Aldridge, by his nature, could not sit still for long, and he was fooling around with us, making faces and danced the jig with my sister. But it wasn't long before the portrait was finished. Then we all went to our place to drink tea, wrote Junge. Recently, a number of things have been written and presented on the friendship between Ira Aldridge and Taras Shevchenko, and this week's Cultural Capsule featured just a small fragment of that friendship as told by an eyewitness.
Ой, крикнули сірі гуси в яру на ставу, стала слава на все село бродую вдову, стала слава на все село бродую вдову. Не так слава, як той Богорів, що заїздив козак січі до вдови у двір, що заїздив козак січі до вдови у двір. Вечеряли у світлиці медвино пили, у хаті на кроваті спочити ляли, у хаті на кроваті спочити ляли. Не минула слава тая, не марно пройшла, удовиця у м'ясниці сина привела, удовиця у м'ясниці сина привела. І годувала малого, школу дала, і школи його взявши коня купила, і школи його взявши коня купила. Сіделечко шовком шила, жупан дорогий, на коника посадила, гляньте вороги, на коника посадила, гляньте вороги. За коня, за поводи селом провела, та й привела до возу січо дала, та й привела до возу січо дала.
And the National Banduras Kapella of Ukraine with another of Shevchenko's famous poems set to music, Oi kriknule siri huse, the silver geese were calling.
This is CHMB, AM 1320, Vancouver.
And now for a look at Ukraine's rich Jewish heritage, then and now, brought to you by the Ukrainian Jewish Encounter based in Toronto, Ontario. Last week, we aired part one of an interview with Paulina Zalitsky, who published a memoir of her life growing up in the Soviet Union, working in Cuba on a Soviet naval base in the late 1960s, and her famous and daring defection to Canada in 1971. In part one, Paulina described the dangers she faced and the indignities she endured as a Jewish girl growing up in the Soviet Union, and later as a Jewish woman working on a Soviet naval base in Cuba and accidentally becoming privy to the political intrigues of the little-known Second Cuban Missile Crisis. Today, in part two of this two-part interview, Paulina will tell us about her harrowing defection and the circumstances that convinced her that defection was the lesser danger. As well, she'll explain why recent alarming developments in Cuba today, which are being ignored by Western media, lead her to believe that we are now facing a third and much more dangerous Cuban Missile Crisis, and its potentially disastrous ramifications in Ukraine and Eastern Europe. And so you had personal things going on in your life, too. Your marriage was starting to get a little rocky.
Right.
An old family friend that you trusted hit on you and you escaped being raped. And
exactly, by him. Can you imagine? He was my substitute father. Plus, you probably would sympathize with me. I couldn't tell about that to anyone.
It's not something you talk about because then you're the one that suffers.
Exactly. Plus, when I spoke to my father about it, I was endangering his health because he almost had heart attack. And I was afraid to tell to my husband because my husband could react violently.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want him to do that.
Yeah.
What happened is, because my supervisor, who almost raped me, I didn't let him to.
Yeah.
I fought.
Thanks to your dad, he taught you the kick.
Exactly. This was very handy kick. So when it happened, he was scared that I will denounce him. So he went to embassy before me and denounced me.
Yeah, preemptive strike, yeah.
Preemptive strike, yes. So I was in a big trouble.
Yeah.
I decided, or I get out in time, or I will end up in prison, so I better go.
So then you started to seriously look at defection. You chose Canada. You knew nothing about it, not a word of English, never heard a word of English.
Yes.
But
Yes.
you decided Canada and a fueling stop in Gander.
Mm-hmm.
And you, first time was unsuccessful. You did it twice. You tried twice.
Twice. Yes, first time they cut me.
Yeah.
I was really lucky that, I was young, because when young women pretend something, it's easier
Oh, yeah.
than everybody else. Plus, I had 2 small children.
Yeah.
So I pretended that my children were very sick.
Yeah.
And airline was scared that I will complain, about food that poisoned my children.
Right, right.
So somehow I managed to survive that one. But the second one, I wouldn't have second chance. That's it. So, once they caught me, it was already recorded somewhere for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And the second time, I would be put in prison. That's for certain.
Yeah.
And punishment for defection is severe. It's 15 years in Gulag.
Yikes.
Of the worst kind.
Yeah.
So I was scared, but I didn't have choice. I had to act. That's what happened.
You did crazy things. I mean,
I had to.
The stories that you came up with the second time, you ended up on the wrong plane, ended up in Prague, stayed there for 2 days, with no money, with no food, with nothing, an accident with one of your little boys. You made it on the plane. And you were so smart. And I'm not, because I don't want to give this away. I want people to read this book because it is an amazing story. But you taught your little boy. He was the one. If it wasn't for your little boy who runs really, really fast, he was the one that broke you free. And you ended up in Canada with the communists banging on the door, the people from the airline that was Czechoslovakian Airlines that you managed to get on. From Prague, and they were there for hours. And then, your story of what happened to you when you defected, and that was harrowing too. What happened here in Canada? I was disappointed in my government, in how you were treated. I was disappointed in those people in whose care you were. They were a whole lot better than the ones that you left behind. It was very shocking to me. It was an eye-opener. And I think it would be an eye-opener to anyone. That book should be in schools. That should be taught in schools, your story. People have no idea, absolute no idea. And I'm just so glad that you wrote that book. It would put John Carré to shame. Seriously, what a story.
Thank you.
It should actually be a series on TV. But back to your story and how we connected. I just wanted a picture. I wanted to post the book review on the website. Just routine, boring stuff, workaday stuff that I do all the time. And then you sent me this information about something that just happened in Cuba, and it's something that's called, what is it? The third Cold War or something, or the third third missile crisis.
Yes, because it's the third missile crisis. You see, the first one was in 1962. The second one was really 1969-70, because Kissinger wrote about it. U.S., of course, had intelligence information about Soviet submarines being in Cuba, the submarine base.
Right. Right.
And he wrote an article despite the fact that Nixon forbid him to do it.
Okay, so this is the secret submarine base that you were working on.
Yes.
Your work was on the construction site.
Yes, mine was on construction site. That's right.
The facade for it, and so that
and translation for Navy.
Yes, yeah.
I was translating for Navy too.
That's right. So that was the second Cuban Missile Crisis.
That was second, and now we're coming into third.
Yeah, and this interesting. The second one, not very many people talked about it. As you said, Nixon, who was the U.S. president at the time, forbade Kissinger from writing about it?
Yes,
so
that's correct.
So it's supposed to be kept hush-hush?
Yes, that's right.
Why?
And it looks like it's going to be kept as well now. The reason why?
Yeah.
I told you why I think is the reason. They don't know what to do about it. United States has not anti-missile, cruise missile defense at all. So they don't know what to do about it. And when they're bullied, they just freeze. They do nothing.
So going back again to 1969 and the second Cuban Missile Crisis, were they prepared then, or were they also not prepared? And they just wanted it to go...
No, they were not prepared. They were not prepared. I was interviewed, and of course, I described my work. That was in 1971 when I described my work.
To who? To whom?
And nobody heard about that, right?
Who did you?
You didn't.
No. Who did you describe? Who did you tell your story to? Who interviewed you? The government.
Government, of course. You want to know exactly names? No, government.
No. I don't want to know names. No.
Yeah. You know, you understand.
I do. No,
yeah. But of course, I am now so free to talk about it because it's really happened and it's recorded.
Yeah. Are you worried at all for your safety?
No, I am in Canada.
Okay, so you don't think that there's any danger here?
No, I don't think there is any danger in Canada. That's right.
Okay, well, you've lived through danger, so you would recognize it if it was there. So when we were first speaking a few days ago, you brought to my attention something that was going on in Cuba right about the time I was airing your book review. 2 weeks ago, there were Russian high-level officials had been in Cuba.
Absolutely. Head of all Russian Navy, Admiral Nikolai Yevmenov.
And he was there on the request of Raul Castro and the president of Cuba.
Yes, that's right.
And they were there.
Who visited Moscow a couple of weeks before.
Oh.
Before that.
And then, I see. So the Russian officials were in Cuba for 6 days, and so the announcement was made all over Russian media that they were going to beef up the
submarine base
that you were working on in 1969.
Yeah,
so they were going to expand it.
Yeah, that's right. That they are going to rebuild that base, and they are going actually to upgrade these harbor facilities again. And also that the new spy center, this GLONASS and the satellite spy center is functioning. This is a Russian center. It's functioning. Now it's back into operations in Cuba. The spy center and the Navy base, both.
They were both closed.
Were closed in Cuba in 1992.
Okay.
And now they announced that they're reopening it. And the spy center already is reestablished, rebuilt, and operating.
Wow.
Right. And 2 days ago, a Russian spy ship, the biggest spy ship, Viktor Leonov, came to Havana, and it's right now in Havana Harbor from March 3rd. I don't know how long they're going to stay there. But from that ship, not only they listen everything and everyone in the United States and Canada, but also they working, of course, in a coordinating work of their new spy center.
Good grief. Are you worried that they'll be hearing our conversation?
No, why? Why should I worry? I'm in Canada.
Okay.
I would be worried if I would be in Havana or if I would be in Moscow.
So we shouldn't be worried?
We shouldn't be worried, no.
Okay.
They're not interested in you and me, of course. They're interested in military establishment.
Oh.
In what our governments do. They're not interested what you and I do.
So they're not worried that people are talking. They don't care.
No, they care about important people. They're not important enough.
That's
Thank
good.
God. That's right. Yeah, my father always told me that. If you want to survive, don't become important.
So you had sent me some English language media, and you'd sent at the time that...
Nothing.
There's not much, is there?
Not only not much, there is nothing.
Well, there was something. It was something about Canadian military.
Yes, NORAD.
NORAD.
Yeah, they announced that Russia is the main danger.
Right.
And that's all. They didn't say from the south. Like, yes, Russia is danger everywhere, obviously. And when they're spying from the south, they're danger from in any direction. But we have that danger 90 miles from U.S. coast, right?
Yeah.
90 miles. They don't have to use strategic weapons. They can use short or middle range cruise missiles.
Right.
Cruise missiles, short or middle range, if they have nuclear tip, they're as dangerous as nuclear bombs. You understand?
Wow.
The cruise missiles, right now, today, nobody can stop. There is no defense against them.
Oh, no.
United States is only developing defense. It's developing, but it's going to be developed, they promise, for 2024.
Oh.
2024, that's a couple of years away from now.
You think the Russians will wait until they're ready? Yeah. So you don't think that the United States is aware of this?
I think they're aware of everything, but they don't want to confront anyone because they don't know how to. You see, they're bullied. And where they're bullied, they don't know what to do.
A bully, did you say?
Yeah, bully. Because Soviet Union and Russia are acting as a bully.
Yes.
They're intimidating in order for what? In order to negotiate. They don't want just war for the sake of war. They don't need to end life on this planet just for the sake of it, right?
What do they want?
They want to negotiate. For example, right now in Ukraine, there are some differences because the new president of Ukraine wants to review Minsk agreement. You see, Poroshenko signed deal in Minsk. The border becomes Ukrainian only after elections. That means that they will elect Russian KGB in government. That would become Ukrainian government.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that's what Minsk agreement made.
I didn't realize that.
That's the deal.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, because Russia is controlling borders, right? So while Russia is controlling borders, who is running for elections in those regions?
Well, yeah.
Correct. And if these people are elected into Ukrainian government, whom they are going to represent?
Yeah.
So Zelensky wants to change it. He wants deal to be changed that first the border becomes Ukrainian and after that they will hold elections. That's reasonable.
So which border? The border that Russia breached?
The border that Russia breached already.
So basically push Russia back to the original sovereign borders from 2013.
Yes, that's right. That's right. That's the Minsk deal. That's the conditions of Minsk deal.
To push back all the borders to where they were in 2013.
Yes, and to hold elections. But what is first? First the borders or first elections?
Mm-hmm.
If the borders are under control of Russians, that means elections are not going to result in Ukrainian interest.
Right.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So he wants to review it, and Putin doesn't want him to. And if United States and Europe supports Ukraine, Putin might have to retire before this Minsk deal is finalized.
Why?
And he doesn't want that. He wants to retire. He wants to retire in more secure position. he's retiring at the end of this year.
Oh.
He's supposed to retire.
Oh, yeah, right.
Of course, it's not completely retirement because he still will be controlling everything and managing everything, right?
Yeah.
But from behind, not
not
in the front line any longer.
Okay, so then let me get this straight. He is in Cuba because of Ukraine?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
They are telling the United States and the Western countries to stop helping Ukraine.
Wow.
Don't interfere anymore, not just Ukraine, but also other regions like Litva, Latvia, Estonia, Georgia, all those other regions as well.
So he does want to recreate the Russian Empire.
Exactly. That's what I was telling in my message to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just continuation of Russian traditional politics.
Wow.
It's empirical ambitions.
Yeah.
They can't stop it. It's always been.
Yeah.
You probably know that originally Russia itself, Moscow, was a very small region.
Oh, yeah.
And it grew because they were conquering territories around them, right?
Yeah.
And it never changed. They always do. They always conquer.
Yeah.
So what they don't want, and what Khrushchev was doing, and what Brezhnev was doing, and what now Putin is doing, they are warning the West not to interfere in their conquests.
So while the United States is preoccupied with coronavirus scares, with unseating an elected president, like him or not, he was elected, and so that whole circus that's been going on, and in the meantime, Russia very quietly is back to its old tricks.
Yes, Russia very quietly just taking what they want.
And the rest of the world is asleep.
Yeah, I was always impressed. You probably heard interviews of granddaughter of Khrushchev. She lives in the United States and she spoke many times on interviews.
Right.
And when they were asking her why Russia is doing that, she always said because they can. She always answered that way. Just because they can. You see, they're bullying.
Yeah.
And the West doesn't know how to confront that.
What do you think about the Ukrainian pushback? Do you think there's any hope there?
To be very honest, I don't think really anybody cares about Ukraine but Ukrainians.
Yeah. Do they have a hope in hell?
Ukrainians do.
Oh.
But nobody else is willing to help,
Yeah.
I feel desperate.
Yeah. You don't have any family left there now?
Yes, of course. I still have family in Odessa.
Oh.
Yeah. They don't want to go. They could go to Israel. They couldn't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
But they prefer to stay in Odessa. They love Odessa. They want to live there.
It's home. Well, but your new home is here in Canada, and thank you so much for sharing your story and for giving us this heads up on what's happening in the world today.
Thank you, Paulette. You're so kind and so observant.
Oh.
I really appreciate how you treated the subject.
Oh, well, thank you. It's fascinating to me, and certainly you made it easy with your incredible storytelling skills. So, again, I can't emphasize enough for listeners to read Paulina's memoir, The Sea is Only Knee Deep. You can get it on Amazon. It is an incredible story. Thank you for sharing it, and hope to have you on the show again soon.
Thank you.
Then thank you. Paulina Zalitsky is the author of The Sea is Only Knee Deep, a 2-volume memoir about her life growing up in the Soviet Union, working as an engineer on a Soviet naval base in Cuba during the Second Cuban Missile Crisis, and her daring defection to Canada in 1971. I hope you enjoyed this interview with the author of this fascinating book. I'm Paulina, producer and host of Nash Holos Ukrainian Roots Radio. Until next time, shalom. Ukrainian Jewish Heritage is brought to you by the Ukrainian Jewish Encounter based in Toronto, Ontario. To find out more about their work, visit their website and follow them on Facebook and Twitter. Transcripts and audio files of this and earlier broadcasts of Ukrainian Jewish Heritage are available at their website, ukrainianjewishencounter.org, as well as at the Nash Holos website, www.nashholos.com.
Который раз лечу Москва-Одесса, опять не выпускают самолет. А вот прошла вся в синем стюардесса, как принцесса, надежная, как весь гражданский флот. Над Мурманском ни туч, ни облаков, и хоть сейчас летит до Ашхабада, открытый Киев, Харьков, Кишинев и Львов открыт, но мне туда не надо. Сказали мне: сегодня не надейся, не стоит уповать на небеса. И вот опять дают задержку рейса на Одессу, теперь обледенела полоса. А в Ленинграде с крыши потекло, и что мне не лететь до Ленинграда? В Тбилиси там все ясно, там тепло, там чай растет, но мне туда не надо. Я слышу, ростовчане вылетают, а мне в Одессу надо позарез. Но надо мне туда, куда 3 дня не принимают, и потому откладывают рейс. Мне надо, где сугробы намело, где завтра ожидают снегопада, а где-нибудь все ясно и светло. Там хорошо, но мне туда не надо. Отсюда не пускают, а туда не принимают. Несправедливо, грустно мне, но вот нас на посадку скучно стюардесса приглашает, надежная, как весь гражданский флот. Открыли самый дальний уголок, в который не заманят и награды. Открыт закрытый порт Владивосток, Париж открыт, но мне туда не надо. Взлетим им, распогодится, теперь запреты снимут. Напрягся лайнер, слышен визг турбин. Сижу как на иголках, но вдруг опять не примут. Опять найдется множество причин. Мне надо, где метели и туман, где завтра ожидают снегопада. Открыли Лондон, Дели, Магадан, открыли все, но мне туда не надо. Я прав, хоть плачь, хоть смейся, но опять задержка рейса, и нас обратно к прошлому ведет. Вся стройная, как тут, да стюардесса мисс Одесса, похожая на весь гражданский флот. Опять дают задержку до 8, и граждане покорно засыпают. Мне это надоело, черт возьми, и я лечу туда, где принимают. Мне это надоело, черт возьми, и я лечу туда, где принимают.
And that was a very popular Russian singer with a klezmer tune called Moskva, Odessa. And that's going out especially for Paulina. You've been listening to Nash Holos Ukrainian Roots Radio, our flagship show in Vancouver here on AM 1320 CHMB and in international syndication on PCJ Radio International. In between broadcasts, please visit us online at www.nashholos.com, where you'll find transcripts and archived audio files, a link to the Nash Holos podcast, and information about the show. As well, there will be a link to our Patreon site where you can support our work if you like. На жаль, ми вже скінчили нашу програму, вже час додому і сказати до побачення, але перед тим я хочу залишити вас такими словами мудрості. Чужим розумом далеко не заїдеш. And our proverb of the week translates as, you won't get very far on someone else's wisdom. Well, with that, we've come to the end of our program, so we'll wrap things up with a by request band from Steinbach and In the Barn Polka. I'm Pavlina on behalf of all of us here at Nash Holos and AM 1320. Thanks for listening and Dobranich! I hope you enjoyed this edition of the show. If you're not yet a Patreon supporter, I hope I can convince you to become one today, with the digital equivalent of a cup of coffee once or twice a month. Or if you're feeling really generous and can afford it, maybe even a snack or a meal. There's an option for every budget. What does becoming a Patreon donor get you besides the good feeling that comes with knowing you're supporting a good cause? Well, I'm hoping you'll also become a part of the show itself by providing story ideas and connecting with Ukrainian artists and artisans looking for free publicity. Your contribution will also help to preserve a well-established on-air and online venue and ensure that future generations will be able to enjoy the music and other Nash Holos programming that you currently do. If you're ambivalent about Patreon but would still like to donate or contribute ideas to the show, please send an email via the contact page on our website. To become a Patreon supporter, just go to www.patreon.com and search for Nash Holos. That's patron with an E, spelled Patreon. Or go to www.nashholos.com and click on the orange Patreon button on any page there. It'll take you to our page where you can choose your level of support. Thank you for listening and for your support. Щиро дякую.